This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first, Duane Towes visits with Kevin Kester to talk about fake meat products and the need for regulation.
Duane Towes joining you once again here on Ag AM in Kansas, and an opportunity to catch up with Kevin Kester, past president of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. And Kevin, we think about society today is always looking for that new and exciting thing to grab a hold of, but there's some changes in the food industry that are concerning, particularly for cattlemen, but should be of everyone's concern.
That's right, and what we have coined fake meat is the issue I think you're referring to. So right now, there are plant-based fake meat products already on the market with the Impossible Burger and Beyond Burger and those types of things. What is not on the market yet, and in research and development, are lab-based, cell-cultured fake meat products. Those items might be coming out for commercial availability here in the United States in, I think, maybe 2 to 5 years, probably sooner than later. And so what we're after right now, why these lab-based products are being developed, is to make sure that we have a set of ground rules for ingredient authorization and oversight. Hopefully that's from the Food and Drug Administration. And we're advocating for the U.S. Department of Agriculture to have the authority and oversight on marketing and labeling claims, as well as the food safety inspection processes. So the good thing why we want USDA, especially on the labeling and the marketing, under USDA rules, all those things have to be pre-approved before the products hit the market. That's a big, big deal. And then essentially under the Food Safety Inspection Service at USDA, any cell-based lab-grown products would have to go into the same food safety inspection processes as conventionally grown meat. So those are the two things we're asking for to start off with.
We think about an interesting dynamic at a conference that you and I happen to be at, the discussion about a lack of acceptance of genetic technologies and modifications by many from a part of the food industry, yet appear to be willing to wholeheartedly embrace something that really is pretty foreign.
Those folks are having a really tough time mentally on how to do that, because I was at a hearing this past fall in Washington, D.C., a joint FDA and USDA hearing on lab-cultured meat products here in the U.S. And so you had all your anti-GMO activists who we're familiar with up there trying to figure out a way to support lab-grown products that may come out in the future. And they were struggling with it on how to deliver that message. So it's going to be interesting once we get far enough along in the process to see actually what comes out of a lab and how those processes are grown in a lab, to see whether those activists still fall into the support column on that.
Another thing that, from my perspective, and maybe you could address this, the term clean meat has been thrown out there by some that are backing that industry, which it appears as of late, a lot of the new things are using marketing ploys to try and influence consumers with falsehoods.
That's right. So that's a disparaging term. In fact, I think Memphis Meats, they're up the road from me in California, and they're in this world of research and development in laboratories for meat. And so they started using this term more than a year ago. And so we went to USDA and said, hey, this is a disparaging term. This company should not be using that term. And so USDA went to Memphis Meats, and the agreement was made by Memphis Meats. They came to the right decision to not use that term anymore, and they haven't. But there's other activist groups across the world that have picked that up since and are using it. In fact, we had a futurist presenter here at a forum I was at recently, and he even used the term clean meat. I challenged him on it, and he started blaming the United Nations for coming up with that and so forth. So we just need to keep being diligent and challenging unscientific-based claims.
Our thanks to Kevin Kester, past president, National Cattlemen's Beef Association, joining us here on Ag AM in Kansas. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Folks, be sure to come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.